Everyone's on a huge mission on how can I become successful? What do I need to be doing? What's holding me back? Why is it that all those other people have these lifestyles and I can't seem to succeed at the levels that all these other people that I see out there succeeding at? And so in this video, I'm really going to spend some time walking you through the number one thing, the number one reason, the thing that's really holding you back in your life. And I'm going to go deep on explaining exactly why you're struggling to be consistent, the reason why you struggle doing the work, the reason ultimately why you aren't achieving the levels of success that you really, really want in your life. And I know that's a big promise, and so I'm going to jump into it right now. And I've got my notes right here to make sure I don't miss anything. So in all the years of studying the most successful people on the planet, all the money that I've spent on personal development and personal coaching, and all the people that I've interviewed, all the people that I've gone and shadowed and met with and spent weeks on, and in my own personal business, the one thing that's constant with all of these people, all of the messages, all of the people give this piece of advice when they're explaining what attributes to their success, and they always bring up the word consistency. Consistency in doing whatever it is that they're doing. Now, the question is, why can't you be consistent? Why can't you consistently do the work? Why can you not consistently eat healthy? Why can you not consistently show up at the gym? And that's what this video really is all about. And so, it's interesting when you look at people and their dynamics and they're constantly on this roller coaster ride of life, not just their diet, not just their exercise, not just their health and fitness or their business or their relationships. It's in everything, right? They're in this constant climb and decline, constantly. We see this all the time with people in real estate, right? You'll have a real estate agent that takes consistent action for a month or two, has amazing results, and then they get complacent and they start going down. Why is that? There has to be a reason why people are on this roller coaster. And I talk to people all the time and they don't know. And so it took me over 10 years and close to $200,000 in personal development coaching and mentorship and finding this out on my own, in my own life, in my own business. And the funny thing is, most people, here's the really interesting thing about this whole topic about succeeding and why we can't do the work and why we can't stay consistent. Most people think that it's what or how. Let me explain. Most people that are on this quest or this journey to succeed in their business, succeed with their health and fitness, succeed with their relationships, succeed in life, whatever that may mean to you. Most people think that it's under what I should be doing or how I should be doing it. And how do I know this? Because in my business of real estate, constantly real estate agents that either get into the business or been in the business for a while are always all over me about what's the best tactic, what's the best script, what's the best lead generation source, what's the best way to grow my business, or hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? And this is the same for everything, right? What's the best diet? How do I do the best exercise? And this goes for every single thing in life. Most people are on a massive terror. They're on a massive, they have a massive obsession with information, right? You look at YouTube and Google, which are just platforms for information. I mean, these platforms are at all-time highs, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. It's because people are obsessed with what and how. That's where they think the secret lies to all of their life's problems. They think that, okay, that guy or that girl over there is doing something that I don't know about. They have a strategy, they have a tactic, they have a something that I don't know how. And so I need to figure out what it is, and I need to figure out how to do it. And this type of thinking is completely wrong. And I'm going to prove it to you with 3 different examples right now. And when I say that to most people, people get real frustrated when I tell them it's not the tactic, it's not the strategy, it's not how or what. They get real concerned. They're saying, well, what is it then, Brandon? And so let me prove to you why it's not what, and why it's not that it's causing your lack of results in your business. Number 1, the most successful people that I've spent time with in my life, whether that be me going to visit somebody at their office or interviewing them, what's interesting is that their businesses are so simple, right? And so I've gone and I've traveled and I've spent money to learn from the highest achievers, whether that be in the real estate industry or the personal finance industry. And the thing that's so interesting is when I get there, I'm just shocked. I'm blown away at how simple their business is, how simple their workout routines are, how simple their diets are. There was nothing fancy. Matter of fact, I say to myself a lot of the times, wow, I mean, that's it? Like, I know all of those things. I didn't learn anything. I knew about all of those things. And it's interesting too, with example number 1, it's the same thing for people when they come and shadow me. So I've had my students from around the country come and shadow me and say, Brandon, how do I list real estate? How do I produce at the levels that you produce? And they'll come shadow me. And I tell them up front, you're going to be very disappointed, because they think they're going to come here and come away with all these secrets of what they don't know, or what they don't know what to do, or they don't know how to do something. And I tell them up front, you're going to be very, very disappointed. They come here and I say, listen, that's it. It's a pretty simple process. And so that's example number 1, is that when you go and spend time with the most elite people in your field, whatever that field may be, what you're going to find is that it's not it's not like this big dark secret that you just are like, wow, I had no idea. Like, that makes a lot of sense. That's why you're succeeding and I'm not. You're not going to find that. What you're going to find is a very simple, basic, foundational process that's executed consistently. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, this is so good. This is what's so interesting. The second example, how to prove to you that it's not what you're doing or how you're doing it that's causing the problems. And here's a great example of that. Everyone that is watching this video right now could explain to a crowd of 100,000 people on how to get in world-class shape, how to get fit, how to get super, super in shape. Every single person watching this video could stand on stage in front of 100,000 people and explain in great detail how to get in shape, what exercises to do, what to eat, how to eat it. They could explain all of those things. Why aren't they in shape? Isn't that interesting? Like, you know right now watching this video with absolute certainty how to get in shape, what to eat, what not to eat, what exercises to do, what exercises not to do. You know all of that, but why are you not in shape? That goes to show you, that proves to you that it's not what, it's not how that's holding you back. It's something else. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Number 3, the third way that I'll prove to you that what's holding you back is not knowing what to do or how to do it. Because there are people in your life right now, and they're in my life too, that have advice on everything, right? It's amazing as you go through life how much people want to give you feedback from afar, right? You take some action, and then all these people have all these opinions on that action, right? They haven't done anything on their own, right? But they're so quick to give you advice, like, oh, you should have did that, and you should have done this, and here's how that happens, and you shouldn't be doing that, and you should be doing that. And all these people are giving advice, but they haven't done anything. So many people in our lives are so quick to give us advice on what to do and how to do everything, but they don't have any results themselves. And that just goes to further solidify that it's not what, it's not how. If the whole world and all your friends and all your family are giving you all of this advice on what to do and how to do everything, well, why don't they have the results in their life? And that goes to show it is not what, it is not how. And those are 3 examples to prove to myself and to everybody else that it's not, you're not going to find this secret on YouTube. You're not going to find this secret in some training event, because it's not what you're doing. It's not how you're doing it. And so, Brandon, what is it then? Tell us. It's your self-image. It's how you perceive yourself. It's not what, it's not how, it's who. Who are you, and who must you become in order to achieve what it is that you want? Let me explain how this works, okay? So when you look at your current self and who you are right this second, that's who you are today got you to where you are today. You like it or not, your current bank account, your current savings, your current weight, your current relationships, how much you're currently earning, who you are got you all of those things. And so wouldn't it only make sense that if you want more in life, that you must become somebody different? You know exactly what to do. You know exactly what not to do, and you know exactly how to do it. But the person who you are today can't do it. And so it's all based on self-image. Let me explain. Here's 2 examples. First example, we're going to look at the temperature in your home. So everyone sets their home at a certain temperature, right? Maybe it's 60 degrees, 70 degrees, 75 degrees, whatever that is, that's your comfort zone, right? And when the temperature goes above that or below that, you get uncomfortable. And what do you do every time? You go over to the thermostat and you adjust it. You make it so that you go back into your comfort zone, okay? Well, your life is the same way. Based on who you are today, right now, the reason why people ride this roller coaster, it's not because of what, it's not because of how, it's who they are. So here's an example. A real estate agent has a really, really good month. They make some really good money, and then they stop. Why? Because their self-image, who they believe they are, subconsciously, they're not saying this to themselves. Subconsciously, they say, I am somebody who earns $70,000 or $80,000 a year. So when they start making that kind of money, then they let off the gas, right? And they go back down. Oh, it's time to, and then what happens when they get too low? Then they go back up. And so this is what we call baseline. So somebody who believes that their self-image, that their self-worth is $70,000 or $80,000 income, subconsciously, they don't even know they're doing it. They're constantly going up and down, a little bit above baseline, a little bit below, a little bit above, a little bit below, constantly staying at this baseline income of $70,000 to $80,000 a year subconsciously, right? And so in order to earn more income, your self-image must be one that your baseline is, we'll just call it $250,000 in income. Because here's what will happen. If you have a baseline belief or your self-image is somebody who's earning $250,000 a year, well, your daily behaviors, actions will reflect that of someone who makes $250,000 a year. And you won't take your foot off the gas pedal when you have a certain month of production that earns you X amount of dollars. You'll keep going. Hopefully that makes sense. That's a massive, massive takeaway. It's the same thing in health and fitness. It's the same thing with relationships, right? If you are currently overweight and you lose a little bit of weight, you subconsciously, you don't say this to yourself, but subconsciously you're like, that's not who I am. So you put the weight back on, right? you gain more weight, and then once you get over your baseline weight, you're like, ooh, I need to lose some weight. So I go on a diet, and you constantly are on this up and down roller coaster ride of weight because you can't change your self-image. And that self-image is of a certain weight. And so you constantly are on this up and down roller coaster ride. So that's example number one. It's like temperature in a house. Whatever your comfort zone is, or we call this baseline of your current self-image, the reason why people can't stay consistent, the reason why people can't achieve what they believe that they want to achieve is their self-image is such that when they get a little bit above where they're currently at, they let off because their self-worth and their self-belief is only of their current baseline. They haven't changed that baseline. Here's the second example. This will make a ton of sense. So when we look at baseline, we look at your current self and who you are today versus who you must become in order to achieve what you want. Let's look at personal hygiene. This will make a ton of sense to you. So personal hygiene is a great example of someone's baseline belief of their self-image. There are people that will not start their day without making their bed. Doesn't matter if they went out partying all night and they're super hungover and they feel like absolute shit in the morning. That bed is being made. How do I know that? Well, my wife is one. So it doesn't matter where we're at, what's happening. That bed is going to get made in the morning regardless. There is no excuses. Doesn't matter what's going on in life. That bed is going to be made in the morning. What about brushing your teeth? There are people in this world like me that won't wake up or go to bed without brushing my teeth. And there's a lot of people like that. It doesn't matter. Again, they could party their asses off all night long, right? Or be on vacation, or feel like shit, or be sick, but their teeth are going to be brushed no matter what. That is who they are. That's their self-image. That's their self-belief. That's their baseline, right? It's like using the restroom and cleaning up after yourself. You probably have never, I shouldn't say never, but it's probably extremely rare for you to use the restroom and not clean up after yourself. Like that would be insane to you. Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about in this video. The reason why you can't reach levels of success is you have this current self-image, this current baseline that is so deeply rooted in your self-conscious that causes you to have this roller coaster ride of a life. What you have to do is change the baseline, change the standards, just like your hygiene, right? In order to get fit, you have to change your current self-image. Let me give you a really good story that'll do a nice job of painting this picture. So there were these two friends. One guy was Mike, and we'll call the other guy Dan. And these guys were like traveling speakers. And this is a true story, by the way. So Dan and Mike, okay? And everywhere they traveled, all over the world, they were speakers, okay? All over the world. And they would go out to dinners, they would travel all over the world, they would be tired, they'd be traveling 10 to 11 months out of the year. But Mike, no matter what happened before, no matter how tired he was, Mike would always get up at 5 in the morning and he would run for 1 hour. No matter what. If it was a holiday morning, if he was sick, if they went out all night, he was hungover. No matter what, Mike always got up at 5 in the morning and ran for 1 hour. And one day Dan was like, dude, how do you stay so consistent? Like, I've never seen anything like this. How can you do that? You know, I try to stay fit and I try to work out, and I work out 2 to 3 days a week, but you, Mike, you seem to do it without fail. What's the secret? And Mike turned around and told Dan, you see, the way that you look at things, Dan, is start and stop, like from a consistency standpoint. I'm a runner. Did you hear that? Mike said, I'm a runner. That's who he was. Dan was talking about what? Dan was talking about how. What are you doing? How do you do it? And Mike turned around and said, it's who I am. So he doesn't even think about it. And that's the whole point of today's video. It's all about who you are that will get you the results. You see, for Mike's a runner. It's just what he does. He doesn't think about it. He doesn't have to stress out about it. He's a runner. So for Mike, he got up and he gets up and just runs, right? And so that's the point. That's the takeaway from today's video. You have to leave this video saying, okay, here's my current self, here's my current life, here's my current baseline, here's my current self-image. If I want things to change in my life, I gotta stop the obsession of what's the best tactics, what's the best strategy, how do I do this, how do I do that? It's not any of those things. It's who you must become. What is your new baseline going to be? What is your new belief system going to be? What will your new actions be like every day? You know how to do it. You know what to do. You have to create a new baseline to say, no matter what, no matter come hell or high water, this is how I'm going to behave. This is what I'm going to do every single day. Until that day changes, you'll always constantly ride this roller coaster because you haven't changed your self-image. You haven't changed who you are. And until you do that, you'll always be struggling. So hopefully today's video made a lot of sense. If you like this video, of course, put a comment below. Let me know what you thought. And if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching.